Hi everyone, this is Julia, the Nomadic Crafter, and I have a video for you today inspired by a suggestion by a subscriber, so thank you very much. The topic of this video is safety for women in a van, and my very first question is going to be, are women safe in a van, living in a van? And the answer to that question is no. Women are not safe living in a van. You know why? Because life is not safe, in a sense. Life is not meant to be secure or safe. Here you are, dropped down into this material existence, this beautiful planet of diversity and possibilities. You're not meant to sit in a corner and just make sure nothing gets you. You're supposed to go out and participate with it. The point is to not avoid it, but to embrace it and become a willing participant in life. That is a much better place to be than in a place of fear and walking on eggshells about life. Life is not safe. I mean, it was never meant to be safe. I mean, you could be eaten by a tiger. You could be hit by a car. The whole point is you've got to learn how to embrace life. And when you do that, you're stepping into a more aware place by being present and involved and participating in life. You're in a more aware place to be able to deal with any dangers that come up. Fear itself is not a great tool for dealing with things. Fear actually clouds your ability to be clear enough to respond and react to actual dangers. It's not any safer or less safe in or out of a van. It's just life. And in fact, houses and vans are very similar. They're both like boxes with a bunch of doors and windows that you can lock. The difference is in a van, you can drive off if you need to, away from the danger, away from the hurricane, away from the gang violence, away from the narcissist, away from the high rents, away from the boring places. Okay, so a van is actually safer. And in the instance of a particular event, you can literally drive off. So that's how I wanted to start this video, and just with the premise of, let's deal with this idea of safety to begin with, because you're not really ever safe when you're coming from that state of mind. You can never be safe enough. No gated community, no gate will ever be tall enough to keep you away from those dangers that you fear, and what you resist persists. The fact is that you contend more with your fears about the dangers than the dangers themselves. Isn't that true? And just, you know, it's like the law of attraction. The level of safety that you feel like you need to feel is equal to the level of danger that may be out there. And it's sort of like all in your head, in a sense, because that's the mode that you're in at that time. But if you're in an aware space, that is your best, I would say that is your best tool, ladies, for safety in your van and in your life in general, is get into the present moment where you're really aware of what's going on. Now, I'm going to give you some tips for living in a van as a woman to be the safest that you can be. And the first ones are some very basic tips that I'm sure you could guess at. One is to keep your doors locked all the time. Every time I'm trained, every time I come into my van, it all gets locked. Obviously, when you leave the van, it all gets locked. Another thing I do is keep my curtains mostly down. I'm very lucky because I have a van with a lot of windows, which provides light. I don't have a closed off cave like stealthy van, but I do have the option of the curtains going up or down or doing tapestries. And so I can have enough light while feeling quite private in my van. And I really like that, and I suggest it. Another thing I do is I stay in the back of the van a lot. I think that's really important to not be hanging out in the front when you're parked somewhere for a while. So Bambi and I do that. We stay in the back a lot. She's actually up front right now. Another really important thing, ladies, is to be really especially aware when you're exiting or entering your van. That is the time when you're the most vulnerable because your door is open. And also your back is usually away from anybody that might approach. So keep that in mind. Obviously, where you park, you need to be careful where you park, but that has to do with being aware in general. But again, it's more about you and your energy and where you're coming from with your headspace than, in a sense, if you have a vibration of fear, you're in a sense, you're inviting that danger. So the most important safety feature I can really re-emphasize here is be confident, be empowered. As you're doing this, really do it. Take on van life and take it on with a charge. And my last mini tip is to have pepper spray or a knife, or if you're a gun person, a gun. And then finally, also have physical ability. Make sure that you're keeping up on your physical strength in order to contend with any real dangers that may be out there. Develop some balance so that you can stand in a strong stance to be able to repel being pushed off of balance, and just to show a strong presence in general. I just think that's really important. So those are some basics, but beyond the basics, I'd like to share, I think, 8 things that I do and that you should do while living in a van as a woman to keep safe. Number 1, situational awareness. Everybody knows this. This is sort of keeping with being in the state of awareness in general. But situational awareness, you always want to sort of keep aware of what's going on around you and your van. I use my side mirrors a lot if I am sitting in the front, and I just keep check. You want to stay in a state of like a relaxed awareness, not a heightened fear. Second, number 2, do something and know what you're doing. Don't be sitting around doing nothing, wondering what to do. That makes you a target. It's sort of instead of you choosing what you're doing, it invites sort of the universe or outside forces to come in and bring you something to do, whether it's to repel a crazy person or whatever. Idle hands are the devil's work, basically. That sitting around doing nothing energy is really not positive. Number 3, move around a lot. I would not stay in one place for very long. Last night we were in a place for a couple of hours, funny story, and I suddenly got this feeling to move. And so I started preparing things to move, and bam, all these sprinklers went on the side of the van all of a sudden. And that may have been what my inclination was to move. Incidentally, I let them get the whole right side of the van. That I turned the van around and parked it and let the sprinklers get the whole left side of the van. It was amazing. But now I can't get the spots off my windows, so I don't know what was in that water. Maybe fertilizer? Yikes. So anyway, I would suggest that you move whenever you get the intuition to move. And it's just smart to keep moving around, even if it's to the next parking lot over. And don't go by fear, once again. Go by inspiration. When you're inspired to move. Number 4, make sure that you regularly check your van. I mean, as a woman, we tend to be less mechanically inclined. And when we do need a mechanical assistance, we tend to get taken advantage of more by mechanics, especially if we don't know anything. It's just silly not to know something about your van. So know as much as you can about your van, and also check your van regularly. Walk around the van. Look for any damage. Look at your tires. Look at the bolts. Make sure they're still on there. Look at your license plate and your registration tag. Look at your mirrors. They aren't getting ready to fall off. And things like that. Just remain in awareness about your van. And I would suggest knowing as much as you can about it. If you can learn how to change a tire, I know it sounds daunting. It's actually very, very easy. All you need to know how to do is put it up on a jack properly and get it off and on properly. And that is not hard. If you can learn how to do that, you're going to save yourself a lot of hassle. Even if you have to call AAA, it's still a hassle. And you're using up one of your calls, or whoever you call. And you're using up a lot of your time. Man, wouldn't you be a powerful woman changing your own tire? Come on. Oh, and do I change my own tires yet? No. But I know how to do it. And actually, I need to go get my spare tire. I would suggest that. I would also suggest always having towing references, cash, and gas. Keep your gas good. Always have water and food in your van. Of course you do. But you car people out there, please carry water and food in your van. It's silly just not to. You never know what could happen. Number 5. When you're visiting with new friends, I suggest you not visit in your van. With people that you don't know, I would suggest in general, do not let a bunch of people come into your van. Now, that's a hard one because you are proud of it and excited about it, and it's an interesting lifestyle and you want to share it, but I just cautioned you to be very careful about that. Number 6, and this is a big one, men awareness. Women, no offense against men, but as a single woman traveling in a van, you are basically already a target in a sense for anywhere from friendly men to dangerous men. And they will notice you and they will pay attention to you a lot of times. Also, time wasters and heartbreakers. If you're sitting in that front seat wondering what to do, it's very likely some man that's also wondering what to do and doesn't know what he's doing is going to approach you. Hey, how's it going? What's up? One of the techniques I use is looking away. If I just see any man like sort of wandering around, I don't watch him. I don't just sit there. I look away or get to doing something quick. And I keep aware of him. But I just don't want to invite that attention. Not that men aren't nice, but you really do get a lot of attention potentially in a van as a single female. And as far as dating and stuff like that, just remember, you live in a van, you have certain limitations and needs for your van life that this other person might not have. And, you can't act as you normally would just living in a house. You need to consider that you come first. So just remember that. Now, number 7, telling people you live in a van. Well, the less, the better for you. I think it's safer and it's kind of weird for them if you don't already know them. Living in a van is a very special and radical thing. So, like keeping your heart close to you, you want to keep your van life close to you in a sense. Choose who you share it with and don't waste time explaining van life to those who don't care or who can't get it or who can't benefit from hearing your story. And finally, women, be empowered. Have you raised a family your whole life? Did you birth children and raise them and keep this baby alive? Did you do that? Did you run a household? Did you work jobs your whole life? Women, you are capable of living in a van. There is nothing to fear. It's easier than you think, and you can always drive back. Is your stuff holding you back from living in a van? Don't let your stuff hold you back. All those special things, all those years of memories. Pare down as well as you can, and I'd like to do a video to help you with that. But after that, get a storage unit. Do not let organizing your stuff or having too much stuff and not wanting to get rid of it stop you from doing your van life now. You can totally do this. We had a revolution for women in the 60s for a reason. The reason was so that you can go out and have your van life now. Look at everything you've already accomplished, and look, you can't stay in your same little town your whole life. Go out and experience new things and have an adventure and see just how strong you are. Come back to your little town after that and see what a broader perspective you have on life. You will be so much stronger for this experience. So for all of you that have commented on my channel that you really want to do a van life but you're afraid to take that first road trip, make sure your vehicle's sound, get some water, get some clothes, and get a camera, and head on out. You can totally do this. We shouldn't even have videos for women's safety in a van. It should just be for safety in a van. We should never think of ourselves as weak. We are not weak. Know that all is well. You are allowed. You are allowed to do this, and you have something to give. Be present and enjoy it. Thank you so much. I hope you got something out of this video. If you'd like to donate to my channel, please go to slowfashion@hotmail.com, or rather go to PayPal and send it to that email, slowfashion@hotmail.com. And I thought I'd suggest an amount for this video. If you can do it, $4 to $5 would be great. We're trying to get out of here. We need some gas money. All right. Thanks so much for watching my video. Please comment and let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to see the discussion on this subject. Heck no, it's not safe to live in a van because life is not safe and it's not meant to be safe. You are in control.